The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte says she will not participate in any vice presidential debates for the upcoming polls. To tell us more about this, we have Marian Enriquez. She's joining us live from Parañaque. Marian, can you tell us about this decision of Mayor Sara, and is this already final?
Yes, Riza, Vice Presidential candidate Sara Duterte says she will not be joining any debates, even the Comelec-led debates on March 20th. Mayor Sara said she will just continue her campaign without attending any vice presidential debates. She leaves it up to the public to decide whether they will vote for her or not as VP. Inday Sara also met with multi-sectoral groups during her visit in Parañaque. She discussed her plans if she wins in the upcoming polls. Among those are boosting the country's employment and improving the quality of education. Inday Sara also plans to continue the Build program of President Rodrigo Duterte. LACKSAN President and House Majority Leader Martin Romualdez and former Parañaque Representative Gus Tambunting welcomed Mayor Sara upon her arrival in the city. Presidential aspirant Bongbong Marcos will join Mayor Sara in their grand rally this afternoon in Asiana, Parañaque. Riza.
Thank you for that update. That's Marian Enriquez reporting live from Parañaque. Meanwhile, presidential candidate Calyodi de Guzman is now in Osamis City to continue the Mindanao leg of his campaign. Calyodi attended the meeting de Avance of Jose Rizal University via Zoom from Osamis City. Meanwhile, his running mate Walden Bello held a dialogue with leaders of urban poor in Tangub City, Misamis Occidental. Calyodi arrived in Mindanao via commercial flight yesterday. He also said that his campaign in Mindanao was funded by his supporters and volunteers. Presidential candidate Senator Ping Lacson and his running mate Senate President Tito SOTO visit Porac, Pampanga to woo voters in the area. The Lacson-SOTO tandem conducts a town hall meeting in Porac to discuss the concerns of residents. Among those who attended the meeting are market vendors, tricycle drivers, and members of the Muslim community. The tandem vows to increase funding for LGUs as part of their budget reform. UniOil is expecting another big-time oil price hike next week. UniOil estimates that diesel prices will go up by 5 pesos and 5 centavos per liter. Gasoline is seen to increase by up to 3 pesos and 50 centavos per liter. If this takes effect, this will be the 11th consecutive week of oil price hikes. Fast food chains are being utilized to serve as vaccination sites for children in Pasig City. Laila Panghilinan with the story.
More children are getting their COVID-19 vaccines amid the ongoing pediatric vaccination. Joy was extremely glad after her daughter received the final dose of her vaccine in Orcovia, Pasig. She also received a free Happy Meal as the vaccination site was in a popular fast food chain.
Gano'n naman talaga yung mga bata. Pag dinala mo sila sa fast food, di ba, ang saya nila. Kaya excited din silang babakunahan kasi pag uwi nila, may dala na silang fast food.
200 kids are being vaccinated 5 days a week as part of the Pasig City's pediatric vaccination efforts conducted in a fast food chain.
They are very excited. Actually, kanina, yung mga first registrants natin, even before the program, nandito na sila and they're very happy to be vac.
The LGU explained that they decided to vaccinate children in fast food chains after schools, which served as vaccination sites, welcomed students again. Experts said that this is still safe as those receiving their shots are on the second floor, while those eating are separated in the ground floor.
We separated it talagang totally from so that they don't need to take out their mask once they're here inside. Next is talagang very limited ang pagpasok ng mga patients natin. Normally, we only allow a certain number per area or per step.
With a mall nearby, kids who are now fully vaccinated can go around inside.
We want not only the adults but also the kids, when they go to our malls, they feel safe. So when they're inoculated, mas safer yung feel nila when they go to our malls, to our open spaces.
But aside from malling, Parents were more excited as their kids can now safely go back to school for their physical classes.
Mag-face-to-face na po siya. Excited na po siya.
Mahirap din iniiwanan namin sa bahay lang. Kung ano lang pinapanood, dapat doon lang sa school.
Pasig City aims to inoculate 100,000 children aged 5 to 11, but so far only 15% of this population have been vaccinated.
Kaka-start lang daw kasi nung vaccination ng pediatric. So, 2 weeks pa lang since February. So, ano naman, the numbers are okay, no? We're moving up naman.
Both the LGU and the private sector are assessing if they should make daily vaccinations in fast food chains. For News 5, Laila Pangilinan, We Are One News.
TikTok is being used by young people amid the war in Ukraine, from sharing their experiences on the ground to others using the platform as a means of spreading Russian propaganda. Gen Z's VC's founder, Megan Lois, discusses on Bloomberg the role of TikTok and other social media in the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Let's watch this.
What do you make of how TikTok is being used here, for better and for worse?
For sure. And I think when you think about TikTok, this is how billions of people all over the world are receiving news for the first time about the war, especially Gen Z. On the positive side, right, it can be used for good. Even just yesterday, the White House brought 30 top TikTokers together to just arm them with the right information about what is happening, how the U.S. is thinking about politics, and what they should be talking about on their platforms. And on the flip side, you know, there's obviously misinformation being spread on the platform. And I think TikTok is doing the best they can to mitigate that in many ways, such as, you know, I think users in Russia, for example, today, they can't live stream, they can't post on TikTok. So there's no one right way to do it, but I do think making sure that you're arming TikTok creators with the right information is a great start.
So look, the concern is that TikTok serves a younger generation, and is a younger generation of users around the world going to have the wrong idea of what's really going on in this war?
I think it's helpful, actually, I think, to see it from the perspective of younger users. Like, there are Gen Z citizens on the ground speaking to what's happening in the war. So even if you're reading news for the first time in articles and such, you can actually see the experiences from young people that are documenting it in their own way. It can be Gen Z dark humor. It can be actually the perspective of soldiers. That is something that's hard to fully discount when you're seeing it through the perspective of people who are your own age. And so I think from that perspective, it's actually kind of helpful to see kind of and feel it in real time from people who are experiencing it on the ground, that, you know, they look like you. Maybe just a week ago they were in school and now they're hiding in bomb shelters and cooking meals for the first time. It makes it feel much more real, I think, to see it from the vantage point of your peers.
Those testimonials from Ukraine on TikTok have been incredibly powerful. You know, what are you telling your portfolio companies right now about the environment, all of this global economic uncertainty, no one knowing how this or if this war will end?
Sure, and I think, you know, early stage companies are largely, they're protected from this in many ways. Given Lair Hippo, we're an early stage venture firm, and so many of our companies are seed Series A stage, and so it's not as pressing, I would say, for early stage companies especially. But of course, events like this are always impacting the public markets. But given we're long-term oriented investors, I think with any early stage company, focus is very important, and keeping focused on sort of what your core objectives are as a founder. And so we try to guide them towards that as much as possible.
As you look into the future, I mean, you're looking to back the next big thing. Do you see an opportunity for the next TikTok, for a platform that is perhaps more equitable and better at managing some of these complex issues?
I mean, I think I'm a big believer in the democratization of tools in general, right? Like, we're talking a lot about backing, companies that are building tools for creators, people who are, making conversation in many ways and building brands and building influence, right? Like, the next generation of brands, they're all content creators, and many of them are Gen Z. And so I think, next gen social platforms, companies that are building in Web3, for example, and thinking about empowered ownership and incentivization for users is really important. So I think on that front, certainly looking at next gen social platforms, but especially I would say in the context of Web3 and how Gen Zers in particular can be owning and monetizing their content versus farming it out to Web2 platforms, or like TikTok, like Facebook, like Instagram, for example.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later again as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.